Hello, I am tatocat and welcome to my channel. Today we are playing Lucid9. Last episode we learned how manly Masato is. We learned that Airi is immune to Yahiko's charms, as are most women, except for apparently Miki. And that's kind of where we left off. Alright, let's get started. And that's how I met Masato. I was never really a regular track member, but for some reason, he always wanted me to be. Even now, I don't really understand why. He probably just wants to help people become their best. Then why would he pick me? Me. And there's so many people who would love track and running and competitions and all that crap. Isn't that the whole point to picking you? Because I'm useless? Like, turning me into somebody useful means a lot? No, because you're a challenge. You know, that doesn't exactly make me feel any better. Why not? You should feel very, very loved. Oh, I do. A bit too loved. Masato probably sees you like a little cousin or a younger brother. Do you know that? What? Masato does? Why would you do that? You know, kid, sometimes there's just nice people in the world and you shouldn't question it. And sometimes there are ulterior motives behind everything. Masato Kuragane, ulterior motives? I'm not Boahai. Wahahahaha. Oh, that's true. I guess it's not like Masato would bake anything. But it still doesn't make any sense. Why would he choose me, a random stranger, as his little brother? Well, at this point, you're not really a random stranger anymore. To be honest, I've usually thought of Masato as my little brother, since, you know, he's kind of obtuse and not cynical and embittered by the world. Something like that. A kind of innocence. Maybe you shouldn't be asking why your friends love you, Yama. Maybe you should be looking for ways to return that love instead of looking for ways to deserve it. You ruined it. I sounded really cool, didn't I? I'm leaving. Oh, come on, kid. That was good. Admit it. I admit it. I'm still leaving. He only chuckles and slaps a hand on my shoulder. Have a good day, kid. I only nod wordlessly in response as I step out of his office. My throat almost feels clogged, as if I just heard something that I really, really needed to hear. Huh. Maybe these meetings really are a good thing. Oh, okay. I don't know who this is. We'll just go neutral voice. Wow. Move those legs, you filthy maggots. Move them. Double time. What the heck? It's our beloved Akira? Sorry, I just got a little distracted by the pacing of her sprite. It's kind of hypnotic, like a pendulum. I peer around searching for the source of the noise. I find Akira racing around the entrance, a large slumpy backpack slung over her shoulders. Oh, Sarge. Please, pretty please. I've been running 6 miles, I swear. I'm gonna collapse. I shouldn't be able to hear you over the sound of your tears, Private. Hop to it. Akira? I gingerly step in front of her and wave to catch her attention. She grinds to a halt, tilting her head curiously at me. What are you doing here? I'm here for drama club, of course. But no one else is here. I'm doing an immersion exercise. Is that like lieutenant? An immersion exercise? Yep, I need to act half dead from a boot camp. So I'm gonna run a mile around the school track with this backpack. A mile? Well, that backpack looks as big as her. Boot camp? Is that why you call me Loot? Nah, I'm calling you Loot because Loot is short for Lieutenant. Well, darn my socks. Don't you catch on fast. Usually her antics would annoy me, but for some reason it's soothing right now. Like white noise in a messy world. Do you usually do things this intense for drama club? Oh no, this is easy. You should have seen what I had to do yesterday. I was a sadistic serial killer. What did you do for that? I can't. I ate a bunch of cereal. I'm not sure whether to feel relieved or exasperated. Say, Lou, if you don't have anything to do right now, why don't you join us? We're doing some exercises that you might like. Yeah. What makes you think I'll like them? From what Ruby says. What exactly does she say? That you'll like the exercises. That's cyclical logic. On the contrary, it has nothing to do with bikes. Well, technically I don't have anything to do. Wait. Will Ruby be there? I thought that a silent Akira would be a blessing, but it's just unsettling. We have something to do today. But if you come tomorrow, you can watch her because of the crowd. Tomorrow's Saturday, isn't it? Oh, is it? You don't know what day of the week it is? Hey, that's judgmental, Yama. That happens to me all the time. On top of that, you didn't even know what happened in the morning. It's Tuesday for my character. In my defense, there's a half day on Saturday. Just no clubs. Which is kind of important. She doesn't seem to hear me. Instead, she just checks her phone for the time. Hey, boot camp is ending. What about your mile? Let's go. She reaches out and grabs my wrist, but suddenly lets go as if it's burning iron. I send a questionable look at her, but she only shrugs it off. Come, Newt. Adventure awaits. Without any further explanation, she marches to the classroom building. Well, this should be interesting. Akira leads me into classroom 3A, where a dozen students are seated in a ring looking expectantly at Akira. One of the girls immediately leaps to her feet. I recognize her as the drama club president. Where have you been, maggot? You know how late it is. Immediately, Akira stumbles forward as if she's dead exhausted, the backpack sliding from her shoulders and crashing to the ground. Sorry, sir. I took a detour. A detour? What kind of detour can you take on a training course? Akira, is she Akira right now? Points a tremulous finger in my direction. He, he jumped on me, sir. Out of nowhere. I didn't even know how he got here. All eyes swiveled to me, waiting to see how I handle the sudden development. They're probably expecting me to dodge out to freeze it. They're probably expecting me to dodge out, to freeze, or to just stare at them. Like they're a bunch of weirdos. Heck, even I'm expecting me to do something along those lines. But instead, sheer instinct takes over. Years of make-believe with Rui molds me into what is needed at the moment. A foreign spy who haplessly stumbled onto a military operation. Sorry, I'm a tourist. Lost my way. I suddenly moved my hand to my hip where my imaginary gun holster lies. Surprisingly, the club president is receptive enough to catch it. He's a spy! Right as I pretend to whip out my gun, Akira tackles my arm, throwing me to the ground. I feel a shot of pain run up my shoulder, ripping a very real cry of agony from my throat. Akira proceeds to deftly lock my arms behind my back, leaning over until her mouth is next to my ear. Drop the gun. Through the haze of pain, I manage to hold my character together. Akira nudges my arm, gentler this time, and I yell, opening my fingers in a releasing motion. Sir, what should I do? The club president kneels down, looking me straight in the eye. I tilt my head upwards, staring as challengingly as I possibly can. Nice one. Strangers don't usually pick up so easily. The entire room relaxes as she sits before me, bowing her head slightly. Welcome to the drama club. I'm the club president. Sorry you came in on a pretty hectic day. No, it was interesting. Akira, could you let go of me? Akira suddenly squeaks, lunging away from me. An uncharacteristic blush crawls to her cheeks as she vainly attempts to cover her face with her hands. It's really unusual for her, but kinda cute. Almost reminds me of Rui. I suppose they've rubbed off on each other at this point. Quickly disregarding these thoughts, I focus back to my physical status and move my arm back to its regular position. It twinges painfully. I can't hide and wince, which the club president immediately notices. Oh gosh, are you okay? I test my arm for a moment, but the pain subsides, probably just overstretched slightly. No, I should be fine. It's nothing compared to what Miki's made me do before. What hasn't Miki made us do before? Did that hurt you? I'm really sorry, Yama. It's fine, really. Are you sure? It's unsettling to see Akira so meek. I glance at the club president and raise an eyebrow. She seems to understand. Well, let's try some basic exercises before our next scenario. Stanislavski's magic if, everyone. The rest of the club time is spent in playing around with different objects, pretending that pencils are bombs, chairs are clouds, and desks are shields. It's amazingly refreshing. I'd almost forgotten how fun it was to just put everything aside and enter a completely different world. Even when the club's been dismissed, I feel a sense of lightness that I haven't felt in a long time. Hey Lou. Akira pops up next to me, now returned to her cheery self. Hey, where are you headed? Home. Don't you live in the dorms? I live in the world, therefore anywhere I go is my home. That's perceptive, I kinda like that. Bizarre as always. The only thing that I've grown to understand about this girl is that I'll never understand her. Yama, you've already said that you don't think you'll ever understand girls in general, so by definition you can't understand her because she's a girl. Right? Seriously, where are you going? Come to think of it, I have no clue what I'm doing here. Catch you later, Loot. See you later. And without any further explanation, she skips away. I shrug off my confusion, accepting it was a norm when one speaks with Akira, and head back to my apartment. Except something stops me at the entrance. By this time, all of the students are living it up in town or doing nobody knows what in the school rec center. Nobody just hangs around the entrance. For most of the barred gates and curfew are just another sign of the restrictions instituted by helicopter parents. But beneath the shade of a tree in a far corner, I catch a sight of two figures facing each other with hands on hips. I inch forward. The figures are none other than Misaki and Rui, immersed in conversation. Must you keep ignoring me, Rui? Because you've been gone for 4 years, Misaki. We didn't even know where you went, or even why you had to leave. All these years, Yama and I were just left in the dark. For all we knew, you could have been dead. How can you expect us to act like you never left? I still don't understand how Yama can be so forgiving after he almost... You know what? I'm tired of this. Just don't ever speak to me again, Misaki. She turns to stalk off, but Misaki grabs her wrist, and in the blink of an eye... I'm not letting you walk away again, damn it. Do you believe I just wanted to leave Seto? To move to District 6 with my mother, who, by the way, doesn't even deserve to be called my mother? What I don't even understand is why you're blaming me for something I couldn't control. Misaki's sudden outburst seems to catch Rui off guard. District 6? Doesn't deserve to be called a mother? Just what happened to Misaki after she left Seto? Misaki, you're hurting my wrist. Oh. I'm so sorry, Rui. I shouldn't have. The two girls seem to avoid each other's gazes for an awkward moment. Rui is the first to speak, her voice coming out in barely a whisper. Half a year after you left, we gave up. We thought you'd never contact us again. I was okay, but Yama... He thought that someone had left him. Again. Forever. Whoa. Whoa. Here's one of his scary flashbacks. That people would just keep leaving him. That no one would stay by his side. He locked himself in his room, pulled himself into a shell. I couldn't reach him. No one could. He didn't trust any of us to stay. Then I dropped by his house one day and the medicine cabinet was open and a huge bottle was gone. Oh. That explains the other flashback. You mean... Yeah. You know how his hands off his parents have always been. The ambulance barely made it in time. They had to start pumping him on site. That's how bad it was. Was it really that bad? So I understand why I was so upset. I had no idea, Rui. Just where were you, Miki? And why couldn't you have just... Rui breaks off and covers her face with her hands. Misaki's expression crumbles. She hesitantly reaches towards Rui. And Rui promptly kicks her in the shin. Dang, Rui. Dummy Miki, why did you take so long? Yow. Why weren't you there for Yama? Why weren't you there for me? Oh, okay, now I have to cry. I missed you. That's as best as you're gonna get from me, honestly. This whole scene seems very overly dramatic when I'm reading it. It's a very dramatic scene. But like, that right there makes me feel like it's too dramatic. Really? And now they're draped against each other, sobbing like newborn children. What just happened? I quietly inch away from the scene, feeling the sudden sense that they need privacy. At least they made up. Well, from the looks of it, it almost seems like Rui was just really overwhelmed from keeping secrets. My memory of that time is very faint, but hers must be crystal clear. Her terror, her anguish when she stumbled on me must have been festering inside of her all these years, because mentioning anything could have sent me over the brink. She always had to fake smiles, put me first, pick me up when I'd fallen down. Oh, creepy red. Something itches in the back of my mind, a weird kind of dizziness threatening to overcome me. I force it back until I can become more detached. I really, really don't want to think about that time, but thankfully I can suppress it for now. But Rui, she was never one to hide away from her feelings. She faced that pain full force. Little wonder that seeing Miki again had brought up all of that to the surface. And Miki, she said she moved to District 6 with Satomi, something she hadn't told me when I first saw her 2 days ago. Why would she resent her mother so passionately? Also, why would they move to District 6, the most poverty-stricken area of Isamu? Weren't you there, Yama, when we were talking about the fact that her family lost their business? So it's not like they're going to, Hollywood. I would assume they'd have to go to a poorer area. It certainly makes me curious, but then again, it's really none of my business. At least she and Rui are friends again, so maybe now the three of us can go back to the way we were. I can't hide a smile as I lounge against the couch after whipping some dinner, replaying the exchange in my head. I'm glad they've made up. Really glad. Somehow it feels like a big burden has been lifted off of me, even though I technically had nothing to do with the argument. And now I'm getting a little sappy. Let's see, what should I do tonight? So there's a chance to watch Go Over Maka or work on homework with somebody. And I've mentioned before, I played quite a few visual novels. I know that if I want an ending with somebody, I probably need to actually contact somebody. So I'm going to look and see if it's going to let me do anything. So, we can do English with Elizabeth, Japanese with Ruri, math with Masato, moral studies with Yahiko, science with Misaki, or social studies with Akira. And I said if I could woo somebody, I would go after Akira, because I don't think that Yahiko or Masato are an option. Even though Masato's fun. I also want to see the episode of Go for Mecca. Yeah, we'll just do social studies with Akira. Social studies, I don't know many people who would be good with social studies. Akira maybe, since she loves theater. She probably knows more about history and psychology than most. Oh, a cool looking phone popped up. Oh, we're just calling Akira right now. Do I have to click on anything, or is this going to do its thing on its own? Let's click on something. Luke. Huh? I have to say, it's weird that these go away when I make the screen explode. The little things on here go away. Because they're part of the text screen, I guess. I'm gonna say, I like the detail on here. Like, they could have just avoided putting these in there, and they didn't. So I think it's a nice little thing that they did there. Drop and give me 20. Akira, it's time to break character. Oh, sorry. The press told me to watch some more films to understand my character a little more. Really? I thought you did fine. Actually, my reaction to stop you from using the gun was way too fast. If I was really a went behind the ears private, I should have froze. Then the press should have gotten shot. And she should have had a beautifully tragic death scene. And then I could adventure by slowly, meticulously, and agonizingly take you apart limb by limb until I think your sadistic serial character is taking over. Whoops, sorry, Luke. Was just yesterday. I'm not sure if she's mentally stable. So, what's up? Oh, would you happen to know about British history around the time Shakespeare was around? Why, you've asked the completely wrong person. I haven't a clue. Why does she seem so enthusiastic about that? Well, if you're going according to Shakespeare, then I can confidently say that everyone killed themselves, fell in the forbidden love, and insulted each other in iambic pentameter. That's not exactly what I was looking for. Oh, I know. You're looking for the meaning of life. What? Well, aren't you? That's what everyone is looking for. You know what? I think I got it. Thanks, Akira. Good night. A fair night to the Yama. So, what was the point of that? I could have watched Gover Mecker. Just saying. I could have done that. But instead, I talked to her. I feel like this is directly reflective on my life when I'm like, why did I hang out and leave my house when I could have just watched this show or played this game? Well, as amusing as I was, I probably wouldn't repeat that experience. I definitely would be more productive researching social studies on my own. The sudden ring on my phone breaks me out of my thoughts. Who'd be calling us? Oh, it's Shigure. Do we actually get a choice? Or do we automatically just answer the phone? I guess I'm about to find out in a second. I better answer this one. Shigure. Ishiyama, a most intriguing circumstance has transpired and necessitates immediate regency. I'm not on another little goose chase, if that's what you mean. Oh, I am barren. That this is of far more exigency than a mere preliminary. Despite myself, I'm intrigued. And what would that be? The police have come to an impasse in an exact coadjuvancy for recent disappearances within Isamu Imperial Boarding Academy. Are you conversant with this case? I ruefully think back to the events of the morning. Oh, now you remember. Yeah, I'm somewhat familiar with the recent disappearances. Well, I should hope so, given that you attend the very institution. At any rate, you must meet me at the school tomorrow morning. We are scouring every last inch of that campus, even if it requires neglecting sleep. With luck, a crucial piece of evidence may be uncovered. Disappearances, neglecting sleep, evidence? What's going on? So, we're searching the academy for a lead on the recent disappearances. And that is to what I previously adverted. Are you deaf or merely improficient of fathoming such elementary conceptualizations with your tawdry intellectuality? There goes the canon of verbal abuse. I'm honestly impressed. I can't match her in that regard. That is true, and Yama is pretty good at that. That and sarcasm. But no one disturbs my sleep. No one. Same, Yama. Same. And you're expecting me to pull an all-nighter for this? Well, naturally, the case demands it. I'm not doing that. Get some other people to help. On the contrary, as I have no qualms with neglecting sleep, you should be the one recruiting. Gather your accomplices as you deem necessary, Ishiyama, and meet by the school gates at 8 a.m. sharp. But isn't it illegal to share confidential case information with civilians? It ought to be felonious to possess such infinitesimal acumen, yet you are not incarcerated. That doesn't answer my quip. Should you choose to go alone, know that you will be spending the entirety of your day in investigation. Not even getting paid. If you really don't want to do it, you don't have to. But we both know you're already too curious for that. That's really unfair that she's actually right. Sometimes I wish that she was oblivious and stupid, but then again, she wouldn't be Shigure. Guess I have a lot of calls to make. When I arrive at the academy the next morning, I find a fairly sizable group of people gathered by the gate, none of them looking particularly happy with me. Okay, we'll end it here for this one. We'll see you next time who we brought along with us. And if, skipping an awesome episode of Go Mecker was worth it in the end, we'll find out. Thank you for watching. I am tatocat. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, comment. I'll see you next time. Have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon.